And good afternoon, everyone, wherever you are joining this episode from. I am Susan Treadgold, the host of the High Performing Woman Talk Show. And my mission is to shine a light on more female funders and female founders. So that is the mission with this talk show. These are indeed high performing women. And today I have an interesting topic. We're going to be talking about power, influence, legacy, systematic change, and really true impact happens at the intersection of several disciplines where vision meets execution, where capital meets conscious, and where ambition meets legacy. And the world really doesn't need more billionaires. It needs more builders who understand that the highest ROI isn't just financial, it's human. Now, today I am really thrilled to introduce an amazing guest, an expert in this area. Her name's Janet Salazar. And welcome, Janet. I just want to give you a little bit more of an introduction. Janet is she's a forward thinker, a master builder, a visionary. A little bit about her heritage. She's a Philippine-born American businesswoman. She's an innovator and a global leadership strategist. She's also, I talk about funders. She is a chairman and CEO of ALPHAWHIN Venture Group, where she's engaged in venture capital and fundraising, family offices, sovereign wealth fund consulting, and global transformative ventures spanning healthcare solutions, longevity, wellness, real estate, and communications. She's also a prestigious alumna of the Rockefeller Foundation Bellagio Residency program. She is founder and CEO of ALPHAWHISPERERS International Network, aka ALPHAWIN, which is the company behind the ALPHAWHISPERERS Global Leadership Engine. And she is chairman of the Foundation for the Support of the United Nations, where she's going to be speaking, I believe, in the next couple of weeks. And she's an exec board member at Ayari, Japan. And she is really, I'm so glad she's with us today. She's a sought after public-private partnership specialist and an advisor to international entities, visionaries, CEOs, funders, and founders. I could go on and on and on, but welcome, Janet. I am so thrilled to have you here. What an honor.
Thank you, Susan, and thank you for sharing with our viewers and friends and community. That background. Thank you so much. Happy to be here. Excited to start talking about what we wanted to share with our audience, and just really honored to be able to join you here on your program. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my absolute pleasure. I love this photo of you.
Thank you.
The greatest victories are for anybody who doesn't need glasses or needs glasses. The greatest victories are won behind the scenes. This is a quote by you. And this is, highlighting ALPHAWHISPERERS. So just to kick off the conversation, what I'd love is if you told us about the overall strategy with ALPHAWHISPERERS and ALPHAWIN Ventures. I mean, those are two big projects. How are they not only platforms for leadership and wealth creation, but also engines for systematic change and legacy?
Thank you, Susan. And so both of these engines are under the entire ALPHAWIN Venture Group, right? So ALPHAWHISPERERS is part of that. There are ALPHAWHISPERERS International Network as a platform and an engine towards leadership, and then of course ALPHAWIN Venture. It's our upcoming venture capital that is really focused on investing into healthcare and longevity, and specifically a very personal spot in my heart, investing into women's healthcare and longevity. So the fusion of this world is connected with my own personal journey, navigating both the public sector with what I do with the United Nations, with different foundations, governments, country level collaborations through, the ALPHAWHISPERERS rather, and then the foundation Foundation for the Support of the United Nations. And then with being a businesswoman, on the other hand, that's where the ALPHAWIN Venture, VC comes in, right? Because now, with all these issues around healthcare and longevity, needing not just innovations, needing not just, founders and innovators, but the most important thing, needing capital. So this is the gap that we're trying to fill with ALPHAWIN Ventures.
That's amazing. Okay, so I want to dive into Alpha Whisperers first a little bit. I mean, you have got this real power title. You've been referred as the Alpha Whisperer to Alpha Whisperers. I mean, what does that mean? And like, how has this evolved into a global leadership framework?
Well, thanks, Susan. I really love that question, and I get to tell more about Alpha Whispers and my journey. So it really stems, the entire story around Alpha Whisperers and as a leadership engine really stem from my journey of having to be called upon to give advice to my friends who are ambassadors and diplomats, for example, at the United Nations, representing their different countries. My other friends who are, of course, CEOs and founders as well, thought leaders of different organizations. So you know how even at such informal ways, our friends call us up, and say, hey, I have an idea, right? I have this problem, I have this challenge, and I don't know what to do. I need your advice. And that friend happens to be, of course, top level, but they trust you. They come to you because they know that they can count on your advice without being subjective. They know that you can come, that they can come to you and get an advice or a feedback that they can then use, and apply to whatever it is that they're facing to make a decision. And so all these experiences through the years have taught me a lot about the importance of my voice, to these friends or partners that are basically during those times counting on me. And
you're almost like their personal board of director in a way.
Exactly, like a personal sounding board. Yes. And from an institutional perspective, I think of this as for example, the McKinseys and Bain and Co. and BCG, these big institutional advisors and consultants and coaches, right? So those are, I think of it that way when you talk about institutional and a top level as well. I think of it as the first ladies of our presidents, right? Or the wives or husbands of CEOs and decision makers, behind every decision maker, behind every alpha, I call them, is that whisperer, that advisor, right? That they listen to, especially on critical decisions,
Right.
And so I gathered
people that have their ear, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so I gathered all that experience, and I said I have to come up with a defining kind of lexicon, you know what I mean, to really solidify, to anchor the most important job or the most important role of advisors and coaches and consultants or whisperers.
Right. I love that. So my next question then would follow on from that. Like, what are some of the critical traits of an alpha whisperer? What do they need? What sort of traits do they need to possess to create generational change and really be a good whisperer, a good advisor?
Thank you. Well, number one, I believe, is that an alpha whisperer has to be agnostic when it comes to discipline. What I'm trying to say is that you cannot be confined to just one, industry or one discipline or one belief. You got to be able to draw thoughts and expertise and advice from different disciplines, from different industries,
Right. Different perspectives.
different perspective, exactly, from diverse ideas. This is the only way that you are able to, deliver as a very effective alpha whisperer, if you're able to do that. And sadly, not everyone has that capacity. But one great example of this is, Charlie, of course, he passed away, Charlie Munger, right?
Yes.
Yes, Warren Buffett's best friend and right hand, and basically Warren Buffett's ultimate alpha whisperer. Together, they were powerful for 60 years as an alpha and whisperer back and forth, And Charlie Munger is kind of on the top of my list in terms of like just really being able to tap into different disciplines, across sectors, across thought leadership, and fuse them together and merge them together to come up with that most ideal, most effective advice. In this case,
Do you call that cognitive sovereignty? Is that
Yeah, we can call that cognitive sovereignty. And there's a term that I forgot that Charlie Munger was attributed specifically for Charlie Munger on this one, And he preached this is in entire life. This was the reason why he and Warren Buffett connected in the first place, And so, yeah, and that to me is the anchor of being an alpha whisperer.
Right. I was reading an article, I don't know, maybe in the Global Woman magazine, I'm not sure, another article that someone was interviewing you, and you were talking about some of these core alpha whisperer traits like empirical intelligence,
Yes.
ethical engineering, cognitive sovereignty, network choreography. Like I'm going to call myself a network choreographer. I love that.
Yeah.
And shadow literacy. I mean, those are great terms. Like, can we dig a little bit more? Like, what did those mean? Can we develop those? Can we develop those things?
Absolutely. And thank you for referencing that from one of my interviews. Absolutely. These are the core traits of alpha whispers, and that's why I cannot wait, for example, to launch the first book, because all of these details you can find out from the book.
And when is that coming?
If all works well, it is scheduled for March of 2026. So just a few months from now. Yes, that is the goal. That is the plan for the launch of the book. And I'm so excited about that. So all of these things, all of these details that you mentioned, that you reference into, a lot of this are going to be, part of that book. And our community, and those identifying as alpha whisperers, I would love for you to, learn more about the details of these traits of an alpha whisperer, and then you can, I hope you can identify even more and identify that within yourself as an alpha whisperer.
Yeah, I love that. And for me, like cognitive sovereignty really means sort of independent thinking.
Yes.
And like ethical engineering is pursuing something that makes things better for people, and not being so short-termist. And so I can see in a network, you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So choreograph that network. And multiple networks for different things, different purposes you're trying to move forward, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Because it takes conscious, to your point, that network choreography, it's beyond what the eyes can see. It takes a lot of conscious, again, choreography, right? It takes a lot of deeper understanding, as an example, of what the people need, who are the people, and being able to kind of connect those together, connect everybody together, and come up with the most optimal.
It requires a bit of intuition, doesn't it?
Yes, tribal wisdom, so to speak.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
wonderful. Sorry to interrupt. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So next I wanted to talk a little bit. Well, no, before I go on to ALPHAWHIN Ventures, I'd like to talk, no. I wanted to talk a little bit more about generational change, just to finish off on this question.
Right.
What do you think, is that creating I mean, like, a lot of your work is about legacy.
Yep.
Where is the disconnect in generational change? Like, is it, where are the problems that you're seeing? Is this more in the corporate side of things where we see problems creating generational change? Is it the philanthropic side? Like, what are you seeing, and what is the key for legacy?
I think the most basic element when we talk about legacy, Susan, starts from the individual and then the family. What is being inherited, or what is being passed on, pretty much, right? Whether that is wealth creation, whether that is charitable, foundation initiatives, whether that is continuing what is already in the family, that's being carried on forward by the new generation, right? So yeah, it starts from that, and then of course every generation has their own DNA, right? But now, with the new generation where we are right now, it's completely revolutionizing even the definition of what a legacy is, because now there's a huge gap, as an example, with a previous generation and this current generation, and then now we have the future, the alpha generation, who are the babies right now, right? And it's a large disconnect, in every generation of this. So it is very important that we ground this generational legacy when we talk about it from that level, from that basic family or individual level, before you can even talk about scaling your legacy worldwide or global, or to other people. So that's the most important thing for me. Without that foundational grounding, as part of a generation, without understanding where the legacy came from, the roots of the legacy, and then where you want to take that legacy forward, you can't go anywhere. And this is one of the things that that is to me, based on my own experience, has been a very important part of my journey, being able to have that, to be fortunate enough to be in this few but very high impact generational legacy building families and friends, and and in the ecosystem that are needing these kinds of advice as an alpha whisperer, to guide them through this legacy building, legacy defining, revolutionizing all the family stories. For example, right now I'm part of this 295-year-old legacy family in Japan that that are my partners and friends at the same time, and I'm able to contribute to this new generation, the first generation CEO of the company. I'm able to contribute to this moonshot goals, for example, to continue the family legacy. And this is in healthcare and longevity. This is traditional Japanese and Chinese practices and medicines, but now with innovation, right, and AI driven solutions, how does he, as a leader now of his family of 295 years, how does he then now take that legacy of 295 years and make it relevant to the present and still make it very relevant, of course, to the future that he envisions. So to be part of that design, to design that with him and along with the others in the team, and for me to be able to contribute to that, this is the most rewarding thing.
That's a very sacred responsibility.
It's a sacred responsibility. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I never take these things lightly, Susan. Never. I feel very, very responsible and fortunate enough to be able to affect or influence these kinds of generational defining moments for my friends and partners.
So thank you for that. I want to move on to ALPHAWIN Ventures now. Could you tell me a bit more about what it means? And you've said that in the past that you back architects of new realities. Like, what does that mean with ALPHAWIN Ventures? What does architects of new realities mean to you? What type of investments are you looking for?
Thank you. When I say architects of new realities, I mean that these are innovators, these are leaders, these are founders that are not bound by traditional existing paradigms, right? They're not. They're constantly moving towards new paradigm shift of what to adapt to their innovative ideas, right, etc. Their visions are catalytic. They always want to be able to be at the forefront of what will work for the community, in this case for healthcare and longevity, as an example, because that's the focus of our venture capital. This is what I mean when I say architects of new realities. They are at the forefront of what works right now, right here, and that will be carried out in the future.
Yeah, I love that. Kind of revolutionary as opposed to just evolutionary, small changes, some big innovations.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I love
that is so exciting.
Thank you, Susan. One of my favorite words is revolution. And I mean it in a very positive way, because it's only through revolution. It doesn't matter. Intellectual revolution, personal revolution, belief revolution, any kind of revolution. I think, it's very important, because it is where change happens. You got to disrupt. And in order for you to disrupt, you got to revolutionize. So these are the things to me, that I breathe and live these words, because I just love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Revolutionary Janet. I love it.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. I saw that you were selected for the prestigious Rockefeller Foundation Bellagio Residency program. What did you learn from it? And what are you taking forward from it into the world?
Thank you. This has always been and will always be the greatest honor and most beautiful story of my life, being able to be part of this 60-year-old program, the Rockefeller Foundation Bellagio Residency Program, to be able to be now, be a part of the global community that started, with their fellow residents, Maya Angelou, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, all these amazing women and men, And to me, what I learned when I was there in March of 2023.
Nobel laureates, yeah.
All the Nobel laureates, just like, I think 45 Nobel, laureates that were there through the years. It's just such an incredible honor. It's very highly competitive. Every year, the Rockefeller Foundation, puts out a call to action every spring. A call to application every spring. And out of the thousands, say last year, they were, I think, about, 7,000 applicants or something. But, they only choose 18 to 20 residents or fellows per month, times 10 months
Janet.
Per month. Thank you. So anyways, what I learned, to answer your question, I'm sorry, I get so excited when I talk about this. To answer your question, what I learned really is that, as a as a leader, as someone who really is in constant move to want to change the world for the better. I learned, and it's a constant affirmation that the work can never be done alone, right? We a lot of times, so many leaders up there forget that, and they say, it's lonely at the top, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I say, well, sometimes it can be lonely at the top, but hey, if you know how to collaborate and if you know how to have fun while doing these impactful things that you're doing, it's never lonely at the top. And I experienced this as the Bellagio, because there were other 17 or 18 fellow residents with me. And the way that the program was structured is just phenomenal, in such a way that other than working on your project, in my case, the Alpha Whisperers book, right? Power Behind the Power, that first book that's going to come out in March. I wrote a lot of this in the Bellagio residency program in Italy. Other than that, you have a lot of time to actually have fun with each other, collaborate, go out, and just talk about each other's projects, each other's lives, So I found that to be the most rewarding part of this, because the fellows and residents are from all over the world. So with different and diverse perspectives and expertise, working on different projects at the Bellagio residency, you could imagine the depth of knowledge and learnings that you can get from all these, fellow residents. I
Right.
know that, yeah. And plus the place itself, Susan, the place,
Lake Como. I mean, you're not
Lake
exactly.
Como, yes. There's no other place where it's just so conducive to learning and conducive to writing and conducive to, being a visionary. It's amazing. And the Rockefeller Foundation, I am forever grateful to them for giving me this opportunity. And I want to be able to impart this. That's why every time there is the call out, I encourage a lot of my friends to join, to apply. You never know. I just tell them,
Yes,
please apply.
exactly.
So I'm telling our audience right now, please go to Rockefeller Foundation Bellagio Residency Program website. You can see when the date is coming out to submit your application, and just apply. You never know,
You never know.
You never know. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, but that opportunity will be, will be catalytic to our own personal growth and journey. It's worth it.
Yeah, I love that.
Thing.
I mean, what you were talking about, the community, the collaboration, the network, it kind of reminds me of this African proverb. I think if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together.
Yes.
And it
exactly.
sounds like a beautiful way of, maybe you go fast and far,
Yes.
to be honest.
Moonshot. We're doing the moonshot.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
So you are going to be speaking at the United Nations General Assembly, I think the 80th session coming up soon. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. And yes, that's right. And I just, wanted to make sure that I manage the language around it. So this specific forum that we're hosting is happening during the United Nations General Assembly. We are not going to be at the General Assembly, because that's reserved for the 193 country heads and presidents and kings and queens of different countries and prime minister. Yeah, that's when the high level week is happening, and they're all going to be there at the UN General Assembly. I'm sure everybody knows about that. But for our forum, for this particular exclusive luncheon forum, we call Alpha Whisperers House New York. Thank you for the poster. Yeah, this is happening during that week on a Monday, actually. And the topics that we are going to be talking about is, of course, leadership, exponential leadership, which is always timely, to talk about global leadership and the current status of our global leadership, and where we want to take that during this time of the UNGA, because all the heads of states are there, all the country representatives are there. Yeah, so it's global.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love that expression, exponential leaders.
Thank you.
So tell me, what are some of your big, I mean, just as we wrap up, because I know we're getting to time, what are some of your big upcoming projects? I mean, you mentioned the book, anything else? I think you're also doing something with healthcare and longevity center. Tell me some of the things, your big projects on the horizon.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan. So two of the big projects. Number one, with the ALPHAWHIN Ventures, right? We're launching this September. So our chat is very timely. So yeah, so we are one of the models that we are pursuing in terms of investable projects, right? For the ALPHAWHIN Ventures is those longevity and healthcare and wellness clinics. We want to be able to democratize access to this, right? Specifically for women, because that, again, like I said, this is very personal for me. We need more women to be healthier, happier, wealthier. And to be able to do that, with this project for funding and investing into wellness and longevity clinics and making that access more democratized for women, I think that we will be able to attract more women investors and founders, and at the same time joiners or clients, so to speak, right?
Right. I love that.
Yeah, who are able to benefit from this innovative science-backed treatments and solutions that we are going to offer through these longevity clinics that we are funding. So that's one, and I'm excited about that because we're starting in Japan, and then Asia Pacific, of course, right? And then here in the US, and then Europe. So very, very exciting times for that. I'm very excited because I'm leading the global expansion for that. So
That's amazing.
Thank you.
And not a moment too soon.
Yes, yes. And so the number two big project, and it's related to this women's healthcare and longevity, Susan, is this, that I am quietly forming what you call Will to 100 Forum. And WILL stands for WILL. It stands for Women Investors and Leaders in Longevity.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you. So I'm going to plug this out right now. I'm going to invite, use these few seconds to say, if you are a woman or investing and leading in the space of longevity, healthcare and wellness, but specifically focus on longevity, please connect with me. I'd love to invite you to this exclusive network that we want to launch here in New York and Tokyo, and simultaneously after that globally. So it's going to be
you need to come over to San Diego.
Yes, we will come to San Diego and launch this with you.
We're all good over here. I'll open up your chapter over here. Yeah.
Thank you, Susan. I will hold you on that.
Wonderful.
Yes.
No, those are some amazing projects. And then you also have your book coming out
in March.
In March.
Yeah, it's called Alpha Whispers, Power Behind the Power. This is the book that the majority of the pages I wrote at the Rockefeller Foundation Bellagio Center in Italy, and I love it. Yeah, I'm so excited. It's first of the 6-book series. So the first one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we call it the Bible. It will be the Bible for every Alpha Whisperer. If you identify as an Alpha Whisperer, you got to have this book with you. This is going to be your Bible.
I love that. I love that. Okay. So here you are. This is you in Japan, right?
Yes.
You are the ultimate Alpha Whisperer over there.
Thank you.
Already
Thank you.
hatching some plans. So I love that. So here we have, we're at time, but people who want to get in touch with you, are these the best ways to get in touch with you, or LinkedIn, or what is the best way to just register via your websites?
Yes. Thank you, Susan. These are the best ways for our websites, and find me on LinkedIn, shoot me a message, and Angel and I can catch it, and I'll get back to you. Yeah.
Your
LinkedIn.
assistant, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that is wonderful. Anybody watching, just take a screenshot for now if you're watching live. And It'll also be hosted on YouTube afterwards. So thank you, Janet, so much.
Thank you.
You are such an inspirational figure. I love all of these projects you have: leadership, venture capital, health and longevity. I mean, you've got your finger on the pulse. So I am, thank you. And I look forward to connecting with you soon in New York.
Yes, I cannot wait to have you here in New York, Susan. We'll see you soon. And thank you to everyone who's listening and watching us. Thank you so much. And I do hope to hear from you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.